we're in the middle of quite the storm. I will walk up to the road to show you what we're dealing with getting up and down from our hill here. It is not good. It rained most of yesterday. We've had like 10 inches of snow or so. And yeah, I don't know how anybody who doesn't have a four-wheel drive truck gets up here right now. I was even struggling with the four-wheeler on the way up to this storage lot. It's all that really, really heavy, wet snow and all the rain. Put a nice little frozen layer in the middle. It's also like, 33, 34 degrees right now. Still snowing. And it's like October 22nd, I think. The whole reason I'm up here today is, well, I have a day off work and I have a new truck to look over. I bought this thing sight unseen for super cheap. It's a 75, I think it was, Dodge Club Cab, four-wheel drive, 3/4 ton, 4-speed truck. The dude claimed that it ran, it just needs a clutch, so we're going to see if that's actually true. You can see just how much ice is on everything now. It's going to make the roads super fun. But yeah, inside, it's nothing special. Of course, the driver's side of the seat is trashed. That's with every old truck. Otherwise, it's just your typical Dodge pickup, but it has the 4-speed. Now we can at least see what's going on a little bit more. I fucking hate the snow. I've lived here my entire life. I kept telling myself that it was worth it because of two things. They never salted the roads here, and our local politics weren't completely fucking retarded. Over the last few years, both of those things have gone out the goddamn window. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm meant to live here my entire life. It's been a while since I've had a bird bath hood Dodge, and they call them that because there's these little divots in the hood that go like this, and they collect water, and then every time you pop the hood on one of these trucks, if it's a small block, you take all the water that has collected in these and disperse it directly on the distributor. This is what we're working on underneath the hood. It is your run-of-the-mill 318, and the oil bath air breather is kind of interesting. I heard that those were only used in like fleet trucks and everything this late in the run. The one thing I forgot about these trucks is how crazy accessible literally everything in this engine bay is. I suppose we'll check the oil and make sure there's actually something in there before we just go cranking it over. Yep, completely black, but there's something. Anyway, that's good enough for right now just to fire it up. It does look like somebody's had this running in the recent past, as there's still some fuel in the filter there. I can tell you one thing, nothing on this block is ever going to rust. It looks like the fucking Exxon Valdez under here. Actually, my guess would be somebody didn't know this was full of oil and just ripped it off and then it went everywhere. Let's see. We do have cables. Let's see if there's anything in here. I'm sure that's fine. We're not going to run it very long at all anyway. I just want to make sure, verify that it does run. Let's see if we have any keys. The floor pans in this are actually surprisingly okay-ish, okay adjacent. And we do have keyage. It has the Dodge Performance Package. I'm going to guess that little red guy over there is the choke, but I'll need to get in here and figure that all out because this truck used to have the missing front bumper is another good hint to that. And I do actually have that sitting in the bed of the truck, along with a spare T-case. Hopefully this doesn't mean that the one in the truck is bad, but you would think between the two, we can get it to go down the road. Now, the simple task of carrying the battery through the minefield of frozen footprints from yesterday that are now humps buried in the snow. I actually know a surprising amount of history on this truck for, not even looking at it before I bought it. Usually I wouldn't even bother doing a fire test, but lest we forget, this is a Dodge. We'll see if there's any sign of life in here at all. Let's see. So he said that the clutch had no tent. Yep. Okay, that's fucked. So, should be neutral. Let's see if it cranks. Okay, not bad. A little bit of a gallop. I'm going to just crank it over for a little bit to build up some oil pressure in case it lights off of what is in the tank. Otherwise, I'll go get the starting fluid, shoot a little bit down the carb, and see what happens. Sounds like it's trying right now even. Typical Dodge starters, they sound like a dying whale. And take forever to wind back down. Come on. I would like to see some oil pressure here someday. Okay, it's slowly coming up. Well, that was fucking easy. I do hear quite an exhaust leak over here. Yeah, it looks like we're missing a bolt on the manifold right there. Other than that, seems to sound okay. I don't hear a lot of valve train noise. It is running super rich. Part of that is the choke is on right now. Also, when I checked the oil, it did smell of gas, so the mixture's probably off. It's super quiet, which is nice too. We'll let this run for just a little bit, see if it clears up at all. For what I paid for this truck though, to have a 318 that runs this good, I'm breaking even already, really. With a title, the original issued 1975 Alaska title. I also have the original sales receipt from Illinois. So the guy bought it new in Illinois in December of 74. And then he got a permit pretty much to drive it up to Alaska, and it was titled up here January of 75. There are also a ton of sales receipts and registration slips and so forth. What I'm assuming happened is it was T-boned and it took out the original bed. They put this one on, which I really like the red and black two-tone actually. But they probably soon after turned it into a plow truck in the mid-90s. The oil pressure seems pretty okay for, you know, old, thin oil. The temp gauge hasn't really moved yet. It doesn't appear like there's an alternator gauge, which is weird. The blower motor does not work, so that's probably a fuse issue, and which is nice here because they're not underneath the dash somewhere. You just flip that down and all the fuses are right there. Let's see, does the radio work?
Out of poverty, the largest decrease since 1960. Poverty went up.
Okay, well, pretty neat. Wasn't quite ready to come off the choke yet, but I don't want to run it too long because I don't know how low the antifreeze is. But, come on. I can't complain about that at all. And even better, it fired right back up. Temp gauge is starting to come up now, actually. This is what I was talking about with the fuse box over here. I got all the neat paperwork out of the dash and brought that back down to the house. I'm not seeing anything else super cool in here. Of course, you know, it's a Dodge, so there's multiple things, fuses. We have some wiper blade, well, one wiper blade that looks, you know, brand new, so we'll put that on the driver's side. I haven't even looked back here yet. Yeah, not a whole lot to see back here. I've never actually had a club cab Dodge, so I'm unsure if they would have a seat going this way or the little jump seats on the sides, but yeah, whatever it is missing. All in all, so far, I'm pretty pleased with it. Got to figure out how to get it running and driving, see if it is actually the clutch or it's a linkage or throw-up bearing issue of some kind. It's actually started to clear up a bit too. And as much of a pain in the ass these hoods might be, that Power Wagon right there, that emblem, looks pretty fucking cool. We'll see if it'll run off the choke now. Yep. Okay, so it has started to come up to temp, but it's not running away, so there's probably, the radiator is probably just low. Well, I do believe that's going to do it for today. The wind and snow are both starting to pick up again, so I'm going to just plow out the driveway a little bit and probably head back inside. The end goal for this thing is to make your all-purpose winter vehicle for the most part. So everybody up here, every old guy, he has that one truck who he swears will get through anything. Like it would drive up to the peak of Mount Everest. If I'm going to stay here, I need a truck like that. And these old Dodges, with the exception of their ignition system, are one of the simplest vehicles ever made. The 4-speed in 4 low, I should be able to get through pretty much any road conditions. I'll be able to get some super nice 16-inch tires. I'll go all out with the winterization aspects, every heater known to man. And it's already kind of a piece of shit, so I don't need to worry about it as much in the winter up here. Say somebody slid into it at a stoplight, don't really fucking care. Say that the salt they're using now eats it up in 10 years, don't really fucking care. Anyway, that's the goal. I'm unsure when the next video on any project or topic is going to come out because, it's winter now. So until next time, I'll see you when I see you. I'm starting to think maybe I should end up putting a plow back on that truck because holy shit, this is taking a while.